Restaurants advertising homemade anything are false advertising unless someone lives on the premises or it's delivered from somewhere else. A few circumstances surrounding this thought. The primary one was just watching a bunch of different food challenge things. This guy Randy Santel does these food challenges, and for some reason, whenever I'm doing like a keto cycle or some kind of dietary cycle, I seem to watch a lot of like food challenge things or just things with food. And it doesn't necessarily make me want to eat more. I don't know if watching it. In fact, some things like why people eating that much. Maybe like seeing somebody eat a whole lot kind of gives me more reinforcement to why I'm not eating that much and makes me have some sense. Anyway, so one of the things he does, he goes around the world to different places and he goes to different places and does food challenges. And these food challenges are normally eat an X amount of food in a certain amount of time, and that's the challenge. And he does these different things. And often he'll go around to different places and people will be talking about, oh, this is a homemade dish, so we can't really tell you exactly what's in it. Or I've seen some other shows, and there's one I think with talking about different pizzas being made. I got into this this whole of seeing these Chicago deep dish pizzas. There's this one guy who does this really personable guy gave this instruction. He was going a different way. You actually put cheese in the actual crust, in the bottom of the entire crust. And different people had different actual ones, so I was looking at different people making different ones. And somebody's talking about, oh, this is a homemade pizza sauce, a tomato sauce that we're using. I'm like, there's not really so much different things you can do with tomato sauce. But anyway, so we're talking about homemade, and I'm just thinking about this term, and I'm just like, I don't like that term. Why say homemade? It's not a home. This is a restaurant. Nobody actually lives there. So it's just a peeve of mine. I don't like seeing that. I think if I personally didn't have a particular reason to be in a certain restaurant and there was another comparable restaurant somewhere close by and I wasn't dying of hunger and I didn't think there's something I have to get from this one particular place, if I went to the menu and I saw homemade something, I think I would leave. Like it's that annoying to me. So it's a bit higher than a peeve. It's a large peeve of mine now. But I understand that this term comes from the historical way that when you used to go purchase food, it used to be from inns or from taverns or from places, from just people's homes. People used to just convert their home into just a small restaurant area. And you still see this in certain places. And here in Nairobi, Kenya, there's actually many places where it's actually not a bed and breakfast, but it's just a place that literally was just a house. It's still built exactly like a home where people are supposed to go in and live in bedrooms and all this. And they just convert it into a restaurant or a bar. This is a somewhat common thing that you see here. But I think this would be nice to go back to that, to go back to the kind of life where it used to be a situation where people actually lived in the places they worked, where you had these multi-use buildings before they just went on to actually just building complete hotels. And then, of course, some of my friends who are in the food industry and also involved in other ways kind of just gave the idea of what they actually say because they also agreed, like, yeah, that's something you're not supposed to say. One friend in particular who I've done some previous conversations with, in particular the ones where it's like you are what you consume series. I think we've done at least 6 of those. They're really good. You should check those out. And then he talked about how in culinary school he was told, yeah, you avoid saying homemade things when you're actually putting that on a menu and things like that. Now what they say instead is in-house. Kind of like when they say house wine and things like that, kind of developed a thing. But yeah, so that's what they say instead. This is in-house lasagna. This is an in-house sauce that we have with it. This is the house salad. I think, yeah, the house salad, that's the one that you actually hear a lot more commonly. So it goes along with the wine thing. And part of me is thinking here, like, well, it's still not a house. But then technically, a house is just something that houses things. Not every house is a home, but every home houses people, houses bedrooms and things like this. So an in-house sauce could just be something that's made with things that are housed in that building. So yeah, that's where my little peeve about the homemade thing comes. Because when you're actually speaking about homemade, what is not homemade? Because as I spoke with my friend in that series, when you actually talk about certain meals and certain foods, eventually pretty much all these recipes, not pretty much all of them, did start in just somebody's kitchen, somebody's home, somebody's fireplace. They were just inventing some way to cook for themselves. and then it got to a situation where it was popular enough by enough people, they wrote down the recipe, that maybe gets passed down in the family, and enough people from outside the family see that's a positive thing. Then some people in those families decide, oh, now I'm actually going to make this to be a regional thing. Maybe I'll try to find some way to monetize this, and then it'll become a part of cuisine, and then other people will start learning how to do this. But it does start as something that is, quote, homemade, end quote. So that's just something that I was just thinking about this. And now that we've had this time with this current situation the world is going through, a lot of people have not been able to go to restaurants. Yes, people are still delivering, people are still doing these other things. But are there certain foods that you had that you used to like at going out to restaurants and eating that now you have gotten to the point where you actually want to make it at home, or that you've actually attempted making it at home now that you've had this extended time away from being able to go to actual restaurants? And just think about your favorite meals. How many of your favorite meals could you make at home if you had the ingredients? I cook a lot, so for me, I think I could make pretty much. There's not too many things I can't think of that I could possibly make if I had the access to the recipe. There's some things that need higher tools and things like this. There's some things like pizzas and lasagnas and in general where I think the time and investment into actually making it for a few people doesn't make sense, where I completely think it just makes complete sense to actually go out and just pay somebody else. Because with certain of these meals, with the amount of prep, the amount of ingredients, the time that actually is taken to actually make the actual meal, to me it just makes sense to just outsource that to somebody else, have that division of labor, and still get the actual resource. And then once in a while, I'll make some of these things for myself, or also find ways to make some of these things at a smaller scale. Anyway, so that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next video. Let me know what you think about this. Is also, I think I might leave links to my Chefing It Up website where I just have some different things I posted. I also had an Instagram for it. Haven't posted things on that for a while, but just different recipes and different foods and things that I have. I'm probably going to have food on the screen going on while this video is going on. So like, share, subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. I think I'll also put a Chefing It Up design up in the merch store actually. So that's it for now. Goodbye. Thank you.